everyone, in this video we're going to be making two different recipes. One is going to be for a traditional corn pudding, which is kind of a southern dish, and the second one is going to be an adaptation of that, which is a street corn pudding. And we're going to add in some tahini and some peppers and onions just to make it a little bit of a twist, to make it more of a savory thing. The traditional corn pudding is more of a sweet dish, but it's got some salt and pepper in it. It's got some things in it to make it a little bit more of a combination dish. But a lot of people use cream corn in theirs, and I'm going to be honest with you, I am really not a fan of anything canned. So in this recipe, we're going to use 32 ounces of frozen corn, 5 eggs, 2 cups of milk, some salt and some pepper, and I don't typically measure this, I kind of eyeball it, but this is about what I use, and about a half a cup of sugar. And you can use a little more if you want it sweet, or a little less if you don't want it quite as sweet. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and preheat your oven, because this is going to come together super fast. So you want to have that oven ready to go. And so preheat that to 350 degrees. And the most important step, which I did with this one and not with the street corn, and it made a huge difference in washing the dishes, is to spray the pan. Then you're going to pour your frozen corn into the dish and spread it out evenly so that it's kind of flat and that it is going to make an even surface for you to pour your other mixture over top of when you're ready to go. You're going to crack your eggs into a bowl, and you always want to crack eggs on a flat surface and not on the side of your bowl, because you don't want to shove those shells into the egg. Most eggs do not have salmonella on the inside, but there can be salmonella on the outside of those eggs. And so by cracking them on the side of the bowl, you can shove some of that potential salmonella into the eggs. So always crack them on a flat surface. So then you're going to whisk those eggs really well before you add any other ingredients, so that we are making sure we break everything up really well. Then we're going to add in our sugar, which is going to help us with breaking those eggs up a little bit. And add your salt and pepper in at this stage as well. And then we are going to slowly whisk in your milk. And as you can see, I'm kind of guesstimating my salt and pepper measurements. And you want this to be as even as you possibly can get it, because this is going to be the mixture. We're not doing any more mixing after this, really. This is going to get poured directly over the corn. And so you want to be very even. So then you're going to pour it over top of your corn, and you might need to stir your corn just a little bit, just to make sure that all of this mixture gets down to the bottom of the dish. But this might be a little bit difficult if your corn is still frozen a little bit. This is going to take a little bit longer to bake than you would think, especially if the corn is completely frozen, but it's going to take about 30 to 40 minutes. And you know that it's done when you jiggle the side of your pan and it's not sloshing. It might wiggle a little bit, but it's not going to slosh. So now we're going to do the saltier, kind of spicier version of this. And this is a street corn pudding. It's based off of elotes, which is like the Mexican street corn. And I think this might be the version that we make from now on, because my husband's not the biggest fan of the sweet corn pudding, but he really, really likes this one. And it's really good as a dip for chips. So you're going to be using the same 32 ounces of corn. We're using a 12-ounce bag of the peppers and onions, the frozen ones. You can use fresh ones, but the frozen ones work great. We're bumping our eggs up to 7. We're using a cup of mayo, adding 2.5 cups of milk, and it's just because we have that extra of the peppers and onions. And then we have a teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of pepper, some garlic and onion powder, and then 2 to 3 teaspoons of tahini, but you can adjust that based on kind of the color of whatever your mixture ends up being in the end. Same thing, we're going to preheat our oven to 350 and spray your pan. I forgot this step, and let me tell you, cleaning this dish was not fun. And we're using a hotel pan for this. If you do not have hotel pans at your house, I highly recommend it. Shop at your restaurant supply store, people. You're going to pour your frozen corn and your peppers and onions into your dish, and then spread those out evenly. And then you're going to want to stir those peppers and onions into the corn so that they're distributed to the bottom, so that it's kind of evenly mixed up. After this, the process is going to look pretty similar to our last one. You're going to crack your eggs, and you're actually going to see me only crack 5 to begin with. I ended up having to adjust this recipe a little bit because it didn't making enough of the mixture, which is why we're seeing the extra half cup of milk and the extra couple of eggs. So you're going to whisk those eggs in before you add the other ingredients. Then we are going to add your mayo in and get that incorporated in there fully. And this is going to take a little bit to work in just because the eggs are pretty thick and the mayo is pretty thick. Then you're going to whisk in some garlic powder and onion powder and some salt and pepper. And the tahini, I'm looking to get this to kind of like a pinky look, but how much you add in there is going to determine how spicy it is. So you can adjust this for how much spice your family likes. If your family likes it pretty spicy, you can go up to several tablespoons. I ended up using probably about 3 teaspoons of the tahini. And then you're going to whisk your milk in and get that until it is completely uniform. And then just like before, we are going to pour this over top of your corn and make sure that it reaches the bottom. Now, if you were making your own corn pudding and you realize that your liquid has not reached the top, you can always add some more milk and egg and make some more of the mixture. So once again, we're baking at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. You don't want that middle to slosh, but wiggling a little bit is okay because you don't want it to be too dry. So as you can see, our regular corn pudding looks a little more put together and holds together a little bit better. And the street corn pudding, just like most street food, is a little less polished, but it tastes absolutely amazing. It would even work as a dip. Definitely try these out. This is just a quick reminder that we do have our 2 membership levels available. It's a great way to support our channel, but if that is not in the budget right now, because most things are not, we completely understand. And if you'd like to support our channel in a completely free way, just hit that subscribe button. Subscribing is absolutely free. Lets us know that you want to continue to see our videos, and we are trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark so that we are able to get monetized and make just a little bit of extra income from our videos. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care and join us next time.